Hi, welcome to Under Our Skin podcast.
And when they finally pulled the driver's body from the twisted, burning wreck, it looked like this.
Hi, and welcome to Under Our Skin podcast. We're here today with Elva Stefanie at her shop, the Blank Slate in Poughkeepsie, New York. How you doing today, Elva?
I'm chilling.
Right on. Okay, so I'm going to take off my headphones to match. It's weird now doing it. I'm so used to hearing it in the headphones, but
So keep it on.
yeah, I never check the levels while we're going anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's more for, I don't know, it's more for just that's the way to do it than I really do anything with it. It actually feels kind of more comfortable like this. I feel more like it's a regular conversation.
Yeah.
So where are you from? Where did you start off? Where were you a kid?
I was a kid and my mom. So I grew up in Brooklyn, Greenpoint, Brooklyn.
Okay.
Lived there till I was like 9.
Okay.
Then moved up here to Poughkeepsie, New York. And have been around ever since.
So you've been up in the Poughkeepsie area since then?
Yeah, ish. I've moved around a little bit in my like older years, but Poughkeepsie's home.
So you were pretty young still when you moved up. I mean, at 9 years old, you're still a kid for the most part. And you went to high school here and everything?
Yeah, I went to high school up here. Went to middle school, high school. I went to college up here. So all my education's been done up in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah, right on. So what was high school like? What were you like in high school? What were you into? Who'd you hang out with? That kind of stuff.
High school. Ew. High school was hella awkward. I was always kind of like different, I guess. I don't know. So I was like really smart. So I was in honors classes and things like that. But coming into the town, like when I did, which was elementary school, everyone kind of already had friends. And I came in 5th grade, so it kind of made it weird. But then in like middle school, I was in like honors classes and things like that. And I'd never really hung out with people, but like I had friends. So then going into high school, it made it even more awkward to have friends. So I always like had acquaintances and friends, but never like best friends per se. Like I had close ones, but I never really clicked well with people just because it just never felt right. I just felt like I was in a different place than people, like always much earlier than most people. So I just never really fit in.
Do you feel like you matured earlier, or you just
so by 9
socially developed earlier or something?
Yeah, I mean by 9, like I was already a young lady, right?
Okay.
So, and that's really young compared to most other girls that were my age. So I already had different issues than they did.
Yeah.
Different things to worry about. So that all already made it weird. And then around middle school age, I started realizing that I wasn't okay in the same way that other people were. So I was really depressed. I had a lot of like, I just was depressed all the time. And then in like middle school, I guess, is when I was diagnosed as bipolar. So again, that made it really hard to connect with people. I've always like had an issue with that just because they didn't really get it. So very early on, I was institutionalized more than once. Like I tried to commit suicide. So it was like really just difficult. High school was a difficult time because I'd get sent away to, get better and then come back, and I missed like 2 months of school. So between schoolwork and then like socializing, I didn't really have that with people in that sense. And then some would know and then some wouldn't know where I was. So that also made it awkward, having to explain to people, or people that knew would act really weird around me, or their parents wouldn't want them around me and things like that. So I got into drugs really early. But like I still went to school. I still did great in school. I worked a job. I helped my mom because she was a single mom for like that period of my life. So it's definitely like, I guess, different from the, norm way of things happening, but that was just our way and what we did and how we survived and got through it.
I think it's different maybe from the
Right,
normal
from
way,
the norm and like
but on the same,
regular
let's say on
people
the flip
sense.
side of the same coin, I think there's a lot of people
Yeah.
still that go through.
Oh, yeah, every
and
day.
obviously everyone's situation is different, but there's certainly similarities. So it sounds to me like a lot of those things that you're talking about could really be kind of intermeshed with each other.
Yeah,
Like there's
totally.
one relates to the other, relates to the other. Like I would, I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here, talking to my ass, but I would imagine for young girls, if you start to develop early, that could probably really cause jealousy with other girls, or just because of kids in that age range are so ruthless with everything.
Yeah.
Just
making
making fun of maybe something that in your later life.
Oh yeah.
You might think, hey, that's great. I have
Yeah.
I have the hips, or I have this, or I have that. Where we're at that age, they're just like, oh, look at the way,
It's fucking uncomfortable as shit. Like at that age, and early on, and then as well, having older men looking at you when you're fucking young, like a child, it's mad uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. Like it gives you body complex issues way too early in life because people are just fucking gross. So I mean, between dealing with that as well as like my mental health issues, and then my mom having been an immigrant coming into this country, not knowing English, like that was like a disconnect. So the school handled things very incorrectly in my life. That made it very difficult for my mom to understand what was going on and how she could help me. So it was just like, it was difficult. It was difficult, but...
So at that period, your mother was not a fluent English speaker yet at that point? Oh, yeah, so I could see how that would cause...
Yeah. So
if you're having issues in school and then they're trying to contact her, then that make just a disconnect there where they can't.
It's just always like uncomfortable as fuck. So I didn't really like being around people because I didn't know if they wanted something from me or they just were judging me since I had that. And like I was bullied from like the moment I moved up here as well. So it was just uncomfortable, and I mean, like, I love learning, I love school, so I love that part of my life, but unfortunately, like, it made it really hard to get along with other students, because I'm just like, bro, can we listen to the teacher and have this class and you not throw a bitch fit like you're fucking 5?
Like, love school but not being in school.
Exactly. So and then I was in a lot of scholarship classes for art. So I took a lot of private courses with the Mill Street Loft, which is a local art group here. Well, now they're Feel the Artifact. But they teach different classes, and then they also offer scholarships to underprivileged students and students that they feel like deserve to learn, So I got to experience that side of life as well early on, which was really interesting. And it made me understand the art world in that sense. So that was really cool. But yeah, man, high school fucking sucked. Like, high school fucking sucked. It was a shit show. Did it, done, moved on.
You said, how old were you said when you were first diagnosed?
13.
Let's assume that most people aren't that familiar with bipolar for real. I mean, I know, probably what a lot of people know, which is probably inaccurate, that you just, you switch from highs to lows, and, 1 minute you're running around cleaning the house at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the next minute you don't want to get out of bed all day. But I mean, is that what it's really like, or is that just like a TV thing?
I mean, yeah, in a sense. I don't want to get it wrong because I'm currently like re-educating myself in everything because of like my recent stuff. So I don't want to get it wrong.
Well, I'm not looking for a clinical analysis, but I'm wondering how did it affect you personally?
It's just like, okay, so some people need Red Bull and coffee to like perk up. You just naturally have that built into you at all the wrong moments. So during a test, you might be extremely manic, which might cause you to not be able to concentrate to do this test that you know all the information for. And then there's actually 2 types of bipolar disorders.
Okay.
I don't remember the difference between the 2, but then you have the other end, which is the depressive side. And for some people, like including myself, it's as bad as not wanting to breathe. Like your body can physically get to a point where it doesn't want to function, and you have no control over it. Just the chemicals in your body are just done. They're over it, in the sense that there's just nothing else bringing more good chemicals back into the same way that a person that doesn't have bipolar disorder can. So
Right.
for me at that time, I didn't have any other tools other than medication. So I was on a lot of medication, which was ridiculous because most of the medication was to counteract each other. And yeah, it was not a way that I wanted to live. It was not my way. So at 17, I dropped out of high school. I was just like, I moved out. I like got a job and I was like, I'm done with this shit. These norms aren't for me. They're not helping me. They're not aiding me.
So the medications didn't help you, anything?
No, like I got to a point where I was using the medication because it was helping the mental symptoms, I guess you can say. But it wasn't helping the emotional pain that I was going into. So having been a cutter, someone who self-harmed, I switched to drug addiction. And that led me to having to go to rehab. So between like psych wards, rehabs, therapists, outpatient, NA, AA, fucking just being all of that and still trying to be a regular high school student, I was just tired. I just wanted to figure out another way to live that wasn't like that. So I just quit everything. Like I stopped doing drugs. I stopped going to school. I stopped taking medication. And I just worked regular ass jobs and got my GED.
Did you go right into getting your GED when you dropped out of high school?
Yeah.
So it wasn't. So you
but
were
like
kind
I
of still
couldn't at first because I still wasn't 18.
Oh, okay.
So
you
they
had to be
made me
18 to
like
get a GED?
yeah. So they made me take classes if you're doing it without parental consent, which at the time like my mom and our relationship wasn't well. So that's part of why I also chose to move out. And they wouldn't let me take the test yet. And I had to take classes. And I went in one day to get an assessment test. And I found a mistake on the test. So the teacher realized I had no fucking reason to be there for class hours. So she just told me to come in for the test date. Took it, passed it, whatever. Signed up for college.
When you dropped out, you were really going for a change of atmosphere, a change of venue, whatever, not kind of to get out of the
I was just ready
system.
for the next.
Yeah.
I was like, this teenage shit never really happened. Let's move on to the next part of life and see what happens. So
when you dropped out of school or when you stopped doing drugs and this and that, did that positively affect your mental health? Like, because that's what you were going for, right?
It did because it like removing all of those things that were just extreme stressors because they were fucking colliding all the time. That was like positive, but unfortunately like I was in a relationship that wasn't very good for me. So I was like living with someone, but I was like working as a full-time manager in retail and stuff. So I just like super focused on working and going to school. So I would work sometimes 3 a.m. to 7 a.m., then go to class from 8 to 12, then go back to work for 2 hours to like switch out the tills, then go back to afternoon art class from 6:30 to 9, then go back to the store to close it up. And like I did that for a solid fucking year, and like I just was like on machine mode, which kind of put me in the middle. So I wasn't manic and I wasn't depressed. I was just going. I was just kind of like on autopilot robot mode, and I like did that. And then when they offered me to take a promotion to be store manager, and I was like 20, and I looked around and I was like, all these fucking people are like 40 and they hate their fucking job. They hate their fucking life. If I take this promotion, I'm fucking stuck here. So I like had a midlife crisis at 20 and I fucking quit everything. Like I just quit everything. Like I quit my job. I left my car. I left the person I was with, and I moved to Brooklyn, and I lived in my like aunt's little bedroom and fucking moved on to the next thing. So it was definitely a change again.
That's a big way to make a change.
Yeah.
So when did your interest in art begin?
Oh, always. I was always doodling when I was a little kid. Always. I remember at like 8 or 9, I always would draw dresses, so I wanted to do fashion.
Okay.
And then my earlier teen years, I wanted to go into architecture. And then around 13, 14, I was like, I'm going to be fucking Da Vinci. Like, I'm going to be Da Vinci, but alive and not cut my ear off. So I was like, I wanted to be a painter for the longest. And so I was like super focused on my art classes.
Was it drawing, or did you do other art forms also?
Oh, everything. I do all kinds of mixed media. Like some of my work, like those 2 pieces behind you are done with like plaster and gold and like power blowtorch and things like that. Like I like mixing things just because I'm not the most traditional person. So painting with just paint on paper would just...
That doesn't do it for you?
No.
Wait, does it ever do it for you, or do you...
It does. I paint. Like, I'll do landscape paintings or small portraits or, like, you know, little studies of different body parts. But I like that stuff more.
So you like to get out of the norm sometimes, right? Get out of the box once in a while.
Yeah.
So you quit your job. You left everything here in the beautiful Hudson Valley behind. And
peace out, bitches.
Yeah. And you moved to Brooklyn. You're back in Greenpoint? Okay. What happens then?
So I had met my now husband Rudy right when I was like around 18, and like we'd been talking and things like that.
So that means he's from around...
He's from the city, yeah.
Area.
He's from Queens.
Oh, he's from the city.
He's from Queens. So when I moved down there, I was like, yo, fuck everything. This guy's awesome as shit. I'm going to go hang out with him. So I moved down there, and I got a job in a dungeon. I was a dominatrix for a while.
Get out. Wow.
So that was fun. So I did that for a bit.
Wow. How was that? You know what? Do you think that had an effect on your mental health at all?
Oh, fuck yeah. But like in
a
a positive fucking way.
Really?
I never understood what it was to be a woman until I was around so many powerful, strong, independent women. Like I learned so much about myself working in that lifestyle, in that setting, between like the private dungeon setting and then like your own independent. Like I learned so much during those years as about myself and like about my own like insides, you know what I mean? Like I to that point I still was off medication, and I still just used life to center me. So like I loved it. I loved working there. I loved being around them. I made some amazing friends. Like I have a whole other family, my Dom family. So that's like, you know, it's still in my life. So yeah.
That's so exactly not what I thought you were going to say.
What did you think I was going to say? I went to work into fucking Gap.
No, you know, I was thinking, because you said in a dungeon, I was thinking, you know, going to be spend hours of the day in the dark.
Oh.
Kind of. No, seriously.
Like a dark place. No.
Yeah, like
I don't mean literal one.
I don't mean in a... Yeah, well, I mean, I was just thinking like spending a lot of time kind of in the dark and kind of only around not around too many different people. I thought you were going to maybe say, oh, you know, it kind of brought me down and it kind of depressed me. But you're kind of in just that. Wow.
Opposite.
So you felt it was like empowering kind of.
Yeah. You learn a lot. And you learn a lot about people.
Right, yeah.
So I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about what goes bump in the night and who makes it bump. Like, so the dungeon.
So yeah, so you're really kind of like keyed into is that my phone?
Yeah. It's right there.
Oh, that robocalls ruin everything. So you're really kind of keyed in to people's innermost like desires, right?
Yeah.
Fancy, something like that.
Because it was like the opposite of how I'd lived my life. Like I lived, you know, my young life, the beginning of my life, ashamed of myself and my voice and who I was, you know, because like that's what I'd been taught, you know, to cover up, to put them away or whatever, you know what I mean? To not be too extra because you already know the male gaze is going to be focused in on the wrong things. So then finally like reaching this point as a 21-year-old woman, and finally understanding that it's okay, that we aren't supposed to be embarrassed. We're not supposed to feel ashamed. Like, we're not supposed to feel these things. These people are making us feel that way. But if you take that thought away, it's just you living your fucking life and just fucking taking hold of something that other people have made you feel uncomfortable about or made you feel ashamed about. So it taught me that, you know.
I'm really
You're fucked up right now. I know.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. I'm really, like I said, it's so kind of different than the reaction I thought you were gonna have. But you ever have people that are just like, wow, this is so kind of, this is crazy even for this?
Yeah. I like, this is my favorite story. I don't know where you at, but you're still my favorite. He was like a young guy. We were like kind of close in age. He was only a couple years older than me, and he wanted to get hit in the face with pies.
With pies? Like in an old black and white movie?
Mm-hmm. Pies. So for an hour, I just hit him in the face with pies. He brought all the pie tin thingies. Yeah. He brought chocolate pudding, whipped cream. He bought shaving cream. He bought another kind of cream. And I just kept filling them up and throwing pies at him.
That's, you know, far be it from me to say whatever anyone is into is not right, but
that shit was fun.
To me, that's just weird.
That was so much fun.
I bet.
It was the best time. I love it. I was telling Courtney about it, and her friend that was the other tattooer that was with her, because I guess she likes to feed people.
Really? Is that a thing?
Yes, that's a thing.
I've never heard that.
There's a lot of food fetishes out there, so.
Really? Obviously, I'm learning a lot today.
I mean, look at the internet. People cannot fucking sit down and have a meal without taking a picture of their food and posting it.
Well, that's true.
It's a fucking thing. Like, foodies, the foodgasm, the food image, like, makes people happy.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of happy. I mean, petting my dog makes me happy, but I don't have any fantasy desires about my dog. I just like to pet him. Not that I'll admit on air, at least. But I mean, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I mean, it's a new one. I mean, people say food porn now, right? I mean, yeah. I guess
everybody likes something.
Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, for not
someone's cup of tea is someone's cup of coffee, and that's okay.
Not my call to say what anyone's into is not. If there's anything wrong with it, as long as everyone participating is good with it.
Exactly. As long as everyone is okay with it, there are no children or animals involved. Right. Everything is fucking kosher.
Right. I can buy into that. I'll second that. So you had already met your husband at this point. Your future husband, or your current husband now, future husband then. And what did he think about your job?
He was not with the shits at first.
I bet.
He was not with the shits at first at all. Because, you know, society has this, has like the wrong ideas about what actually happens and what actually goes on. BDSM is about psychology, and it's about understanding a person that in any other setting would not be able to be understood. So it's not about sex or coming or orgasms or anything like that. Like, some people spend every fucking day of their lives from 8 to 6 p.m. working a job that they fucking hate, and then they have to go home, deal with shit that they don't want to deal with. Right. And then on top of it, you add, like, for instance, I'm going to use this example, men who have these jobs that they're supposed to do, and they're the alphas at work. But in reality, at home or in their minds, they're actually submissive. They're betas. And they just want to go somewhere where they don't have to make the rules. They don't have to tell everyone what to do.
Where someone tells them what to do, right?
Exactly. They can just fucking let go and just be their true self. So that's what I ended up learning while I was there about people. Then that's why different people use different survival tactics to get through life, because they're not happy. They're not, satisfied, so they want to find something else. So with him, once he understood that and I understood it, so I could explain that, it was like, all right, whatever.
Okay.
It's like, I'm not gonna be mad that you're making what you're making an hour for spanking someone, putting them on your lap, or fucking, you know, single-tailing someone or whatever have you.
What's single-tailing?
A whip.
Oh, like as opposed to like a cat of nine tails, like a one tail. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, those aren't pussy whips.
Oh, sorry.
Those aren't pussy whips. I'm talking about Catwoman. Nah, but those are too long to actually do anything well. But anyways, so yeah. So once he understood that it was not all of those other things that like people make you think, he was like, whatever.
Okay. So you guys, your relationship continued while.
Yeah.
Well, cool. And so how did you get out of that BDSM?
So when I started working there, I actually started getting into tattooing.
Okay.
One of the other girls that worked there, she had left there, and she was also an artist, like an oil painter and fine artist, and so she quit to start tattooing, and I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. Like, I'm an artist, like, let me look into this. And so I went to a shop in Queens and got like my Batman symbol that I got. And then I got this quote on my chest: if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And then I was like, you know what? I want a sleeve. And I only had like 4 tattoos at this point or something like that. And so I was like, fuck it. Like, I designed the whole sleeve from top to bottom, and I took it to the girl and I said, do this on me. She's like, it's really good. Like, did you design it? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I drew it up. This is what I want, you know? And she was like pretty impressed. So from there, I was just kind of like, I'm going to look more into it. So I just kept looking more into it. And then eventually we stopped going to her because we realized she had a bit of a habit. I just didn't feel safe anymore. And then I actually got one of my submissives to buy me my whole first batch of tattoo gear.
Really?
My first critical supply, my first workhorse irons machine, like all my firsts. I told him exactly what to get, where to get it. He got it all, and then that was the start.
Are you allowed to do that? Like, did you do it while you were in a session?
No, we were in the park. We were sitting in Bryant Park.
Oh, so it was. This was an out of work exchange. Okay.
Yeah.
You weren't like.
No, he was one of my subs.
Slave going to the store.
Yeah, he was like one of my like subs, like my.
Oh, so
he helped me in regular life because I need help all the time. So he would run errands for me. Like, I had a couple people that do.
That's interesting. So he ran errands for you. It's kind of like as an extension of.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So
because once I left like the private dungeon setting, which is like completely different because it's commercial, and you switch over to independent, which is what I chose to do because I just felt like that environment wasn't for me anymore. It wasn't the safest for me, so I went independent, and at that point you control. It's like the same shit as tattooing. Like it wasn't much of a difference when I switched over my idea logics. On what to do and how to stay organized. So pretty much like, I just ran my own website, my own email, my own ads. I wrote what kind of sessions I provided and what I didn't. And then I started renting with my Dom mother, who's in Manhattan also somewhere. Shout out to Ma. Because it was just better because I had full control of everything happening. Like at the dungeon one time, there was a necrophiliac. Right. I didn't know until I was in there. Nobody warned a bitch. Nobody warned a hoe. It was weird. As weird as you can imagine. And then some. Yeah. So after that, I was just kind of like, I don't really want to be here anymore. So
but how can that translate into a dungeon session thing? I mean, no one's dead.
No one's dead. No one's dead. In their mind, there's a girl who's pretending, because the Dom that I was in the session with, she was also an actress. Bitch plays corpses all the time.
Okay.
She could slow her breathing down. This bitch could get cold. Not for me. Not my cup of tea. I'm not with the shits. I'm not interested. So yeah, that was one of my last days. Oh no, my last day. Everybody knows Mental Dental. There's plenty of dominatrixes who have written like tell-alls and shit and have mentioned this fucking man.
So that's a person, Mental Dental?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He fucking likes teeth.
Okay.
To the point where he prints girls' pictures off the internet and their smiles and shit. And he would want a session with someone that had really pretty teeth. And if he found out that your shits were straight, like naturally pretty and naturally straight, he wanted to see you. Which bitch had that? This bitch right here. So he asked to see me. He was like, "Can I lick your teeth?" I fucking threw up in my mouth. I walked out of the fucking room. I told all the doms. They started throwing up. I said, "I'm done. I quit. I'm out. This shit is not for me. I don't know why the fuck I'm here with this man, but this is not what my mom and my life told me to do with my existence." So that was my last day. So that was the last straw. The necrophiliac wasn't enough, I guess. It took mental dental to get me to leave. That was the line. My
that's
teeth.
the line in the sand. Licking
My human person was the line. Yeah.
Yeah, that's creep. That's weird. I mean,
It was fucked because he had this like gross, dying, rancid odor about him. Like this motherfucker was like rotting to death. I don't fucking know. And I took the subway that night and something or someone smelled like that. And so I was having PTSD the whole ride home because I swore to God he was on the train with me. He wasn't.
It puts the lotion on his teeth or else against. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in a professional setting, I mean, there must be some security. Is there some amount of security? Like, I mean, a security guard is the fact that there's other people that are not that far away, or.
So
I mean, is
like,
that what it is? Is it in like a?
So like
a store, or is it like
the house versus the independent dungeon? The house, there's a manager on duty. There's like intercoms and shit, and like weird latches on the door that don't lock in a way that if you don't know what to do, that you know what I mean. Like there's security measures there. I just didn't feel like if it was safe. I didn't feel it was safe enough because it's commercial. So like I had a couple stalkers. And yeah, so it just wasn't. It just was not good for me. So then when I went the independent route, I could control it way more. And then in that setting, it's like my dom mom's there or her house slave is there and I'm the only one sessioning, as opposed to 9 other women sessioning. And if God forbid 2 or 3 of them need help, where the fuck are you running first?
that's true,
So I got a lot less weirdos going independent, and it was more fun.
9 women. So is it mostly women, or is it all women that are the dominations, or is there guys too?
There's male doms. Yeah, there's male doms. They're definitely out there. It's just more for, I guess, New York City or like in those kind of settings. It's more common for dudes to want lady doms, but there are male dominatrixes. I know them like personally type thing. But like every now and again there would be couples that would come in. As ladies that would come in
as submissives. Like,
yes.
Okay.
So yeah, a little bit of everything out there for everybody. You're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to talk about now.
No. I was gonna ask you: is there any amount of crossover between the BDSM community and the LBGTQ? I forget what it's supposed to be now. LGBTQ community.
Yeah, I mean, I think in all, like, you know, everything, we're everywhere.
Well, I mean,
know?
there's going to be a little crossover with everyone, but I mean, is there more of a presence? Is there an LGBTQ? Is there more of a presence? Do they have more of a presence than other groups, maybe?
I feel like yes and no. Like I knew, you know, lesbian doms that, you know, they only saw male submissives, you know what I mean? Like I said, I know plenty of male doms and they session with men just like they session with women. I think that in the BDSM community, like sexuality isn't the same. It's not labeled as, you know, gay, straight, this way, that way, upside down. You know, it's not as labeled. It doesn't really matter. You have plenty of doms that, you know, like they do personas that are very feminine, you know. It's like she's all powerful, goddess like. And then you have doms that do like super fucking like chaps and like leather daddy vibes. So everything is okay. Everything's okay if you are trans. If you're post, you're pre, you're male to female, female to male, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no actual. It doesn't matter. Like, there's plenty of subs that is their dream, a trans female goddess fucking dom. Like, that's their dream. So it's not the same.
Okay.
I think that because it was taboo for so long, and like I was telling you earlier with like, there's so many things that are still taboo that really shouldn't be. I think that like we make our own communities together, just because when you have to be an other, you kind of have to go with other people that are being treated that way. So.
Okay. So what you were just saying about those ones that are feminine and this way, do dominatrixes have like a specialty? I guess it was so. Yeah, so you're going in, and if you're, like you said, a real effeminate or real whatever the personality.
Yeah.
I mean, is that kind of basically the way you stay all day, or do people kind of jump around?
No, it's like it's almost like, I don't want to say playing dress up, but kind of like you play different roles, different characters, like you might have someone who wants a session and they want like a teacher and they want to be spanked. Then you might have someone that wants you in full latex because they want to feel small and shit, or get mummified and they want you in something shiny that they can like rub around. And
you mummified people?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that shit is fucking amazing. It is so fucking relaxing.
What do you like? Just wrap them with like rolls of gauze or something like that?
Lots of layers of saran wrap.
Oh, saran wrap? Get the hell out of here! Is that a common thing that people like?
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
The way you said it made it sound like it's all the time.
It was one of my specialties.
Okay,
that's why it was one of the things that I did. It's a lot. There's a lot, but I don't know. Like, there's a lot of people that enjoy breath play. So some people like to get mummified because they want to be mummified all the way up, and they want breath play. They're like, for instance,
what's breath play?
Like asphyxiations.
Oh.
Like
erotic asphyxiation.
Have like not erotic. This is not erotic. You can die. Bag over your head, like Taken type shit.
Oh, that's what they really.
So then you have masks that can control your breath. So your dominant can control your breathing to like almost nothing per minute. Yeah. Type thing. So it's just
like
a lot.
So like those training masks that these, right? Something like that, where like for training at high altitudes and stuff, where it doesn't let air through.
Yeah. There's I've seen gas masks, like people with smoking fetishes. One of the guys I used to mummify, I love him. He's awesome. He was claustrophobic. So like he couldn't get on elevators and things like that. And every time we would session, I would mummify him for longer periods. And like I remember the last time I saw him, he's like, I fucking took an elevator today.
Wow. So you think the mummification helped him?
It did. He's like, I think I'm gonna go on an airplane next month.
Wow.
So like that's what I mean, that there's so much psychology behind it that doesn't even have to do with like sensualness at all, that it's so much more complicated than people understand.
Wow. I feel like we could probably talk about this for a long time.
Oh my God. One day I'm gonna write a book. Everybody wants me to write a book because I'm super open about it. I don't like publicize it because, like I said, I had stalkers.
Right.
So I don't like publicize it, but I'm super open about it because it was a part of my life, like all the rest is, So I'm super open about all the situations.
All right. So now you're out of the commercial BDSM thing. You're into you're doing private stuff, and you started getting tattooed by this lady. And before that, was there ever any aspirations of being a tattooer, or was that
there was
there was okay.
So during my not so awesome youngerness, I was involved in gangs and things like that. So
there's always tattoos there.
There's always tattoos, and once you find out someone can draw, that's the new tattoo artist of the crew. You know what I mean? So I was tattooing at 15.
Okay.
Different people. I started getting tattooed at 15. I did my first tattoo on myself at 15. And then like I think it was like when I was like 16, I was in one of my private art classes. Again, I'm living lives. I'm out here living different bitches' lives, right? So I'm in my art class and I ask about tattooing, and I'm straight up told by like my mentor, tattooing is not real art. You're not an artist if you tattoo. That's not real art. That's not hanging in galleries. That's not hanging in museums. And I was just like, what the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna pretend like that doesn't exist then. But at 18 is when I started getting my first like shop tattoos. So like I always had the interest, and I was curious about it. And I think it took me hearing that someone else with a similar kind of vibe was doing it that route, and I was like, fuck it. So
because I mean, in the gang world, quality is not that important, right? I mean, guys just get them to represent their clique or their I mean, just to have them. It doesn't kind of like biker tattoos. Like it doesn't really matter if it's good or not. It's just you just have it, and that's
exactly.
It.
So
you're a young outlaw tattooer, and now but then this woman that you're talking about, that's where you started getting your more shop kind of pro level tattoos from, and that rekindled the fire in you, something like that, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it sucked because since I was interested and I was like, I want to try this. I tried the traditional route of finding an apprenticeship, but it just like didn't pan out. I had like one guy who like straight up was like sex for apprenticeship, and I had another guy that he wanted me to pay him, which wasn't a problem because you pay to go to fucking college. My issue was he wanted me to learn how to pierce, and I was going to be in a 2-year apprenticeship. And then a year and a half was going to be piercing. And then half of it, the last 6 months, was going to be tattooing. And I just was like, I don't think this is right. I don't think that in 6 months, that's enough. Like, you're going to have me for 2 years and I only get 6 months of this. And I don't even want to fucking pierce.
Right.
So, in the city, I couldn't find an apprenticeship that vibe that we just worked well together. So I actually ended up moving back up to Poughkeepsie because I wanted to go back to school too.
Okay.
And I went to a bunch of the local shops, like all of them, sent my portfolio, walked in, emailed, blah, 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 and I got shut the shit down. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to learn anyways. I'm smart.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I guess in a way you were kind of different because you already had experience in some degree of doing stuff, right? I mean,
not like fucking now where of course. People look at my stuff and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, right, I mean, on a different level, not on.
I picked at it before,
Yeah, I mean, you had done it before, whether you're doing it correctly or whether you were good or bad or whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, you had experience, which is something a lot of apprentices don't have at all. So I don't know. I would think that would make you more desirable to have as an apprentice, but I don't know.
It was like still kind of weird though. 8 years ago, it was still like it's not. I mean, it's not as male dominated as it was anymore. You know what I mean? Not in the fucking slightest. But at that point, it still was a little bit. And then I think also a lot of the shops that I did ask, it was like traditional, 25 years in, and they're used to like these dumbass people coming in, going out, asking for apprenticeships and shit. Yeah. So like I understood too, but it was just like that's a no is not enough for me.
I think 8 years ago it was maybe just on the beginning cusp of kind of the tattooing world as it is now, as show like Ink Master, Miami Ink, and these shows were coming on TV, and tattooing was in a much higher profile than it had been before, but not in a high profile like for gangs and bikers and this and that, as just on regular people getting big tattoos and getting sleeves and back pieces and neck pieces and this and that and the other thing. Whereas before that, it just wasn't done. People just didn't do it. I mean, kind of your normal everyday people you see walking down the street weren't doing it, and if they did, it was something
that was not
little. Like a guy would get a little thing on his bicep, or women get a little thing on their ankle or their shoulder or something, and it was kind of really. And there's always tattoo people, what I mean,
Yeah.
that are going to get bigger
Yeah.
things in this and they're always around. But I think there's 8 years ago was on the beginning of there being so many more of them, and women too, I think. And I think the high visibility of, like I said, shows like that, like Miami Ink and maybe especially Kat Von D with LA Ink and Ink Master have made tattooing appeal to women in.
It's become much more mainstream in household.
Oh, without a doubt.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? In the last month from here, I've been to 3 or maybe 6 weeks. I've been to 3 conventions, and I see a lot of, especially the last 2, both in Jersey. I seen I'd say the majority of the people getting tattooed were women. It seemed maybe not, it's not like 90-10 or something, but there's at least 50-50, if not more, towards. I mean, there's a lot more women and stuff, and then they're getting bigger things than they did 10 years ago. And I think it's great, and I think tattooing is a field where it's totally on ability.
Yeah.
In some situations, right? Obviously, men and women can't compete equally in sport. I mean, I don't want to sound sexist about it, but in sports things in general, men are built bigger and stronger. So I mean, you can't have a weightlifting competition between men and women because it's not.
Yeah.
It's not even, I guess. But with tattooing, it's a level field, and I think it's great that there's more women tattooing and being tattooed.
Yeah.
I think it's nice, and I think around the time you're talking about, that's when it was kind of all starting to kind of come together.
Yeah, for sure.
So enough of me babbling now. So so you couldn't get an apprenticeship.
Mm-mm.
So what? So you open a shop? Were you working out of the kitchen, out of the garage?
So I had started tattooing in Queens, so I was just tattooing in our bedroom in fucking projects and shit. And then when I moved up here, my mom, my brother and sister had moved out, so I took the whole first floor apartment, and it was 2 bedrooms. So I converted the second bedroom into a clean tattoo studio. Nobody was allowed in or out unless they were getting tattooed. Like, everything was fucking white. I'm looking back, I'm like, I can't even tattoo on fucking light pastel walls. So I don't know how the fuck I was doing that. But yeah, I had a clean room, and I tattooed there, and it was just people telling people, and more people and more people. And I worked there for like 2 years, and then I worked at my friend's shop for a little bit, but it wasn't right.
Not the right fit for you?
Nah, it was a barber shop in the front, and they were always having fights, or they were dragging hair into the back, into the tattoo area. Yeah. And then, I think one day someone pulled a gun on someone, and I'm like, bro, my clients are not fucking gonna come here. I don't want to come here.
Yeah.
So I went back to my house for another year, and then that's when we opened the first location of the Blank Slate on Market Street next to Union. It was next to a bar.
I don't know what the time.
So I would come in the mornings, and there'd be puke outside my door. And I had windows in the back that was connected to the bar, and they could fucking just smell the piss from the windows. It was not the best, but it was 2 rooms, and it was clean, and I could tattoo there. I didn't last more than 6 months because I couldn't fucking take it. Yeah. And then we moved down to the river above the train station. And I was there for a couple years. And it was awesome because it was really cute. I had French stores and shit. You could see the river. The bar was downstairs, so the girls would bring up food for us. And then if a girl was with her boyfriend or husband or something, they'd go down to the bar and fucking watch TV, drink some beer. So it was perfect.
Yeah, that's handy.
Yeah.
And then
I went back to working with a friend. Did that for a bit. And
same friend or a different friend?
Same friend. Okay. And then that didn't work out. So, shit happens with friends sometimes. So I went, and we ended up finding this location, and we've been here for 3 years.
Awesome. Since you didn't do an apprenticeship, Have you tried to pick up things as you
Oh, yeah.
go? Yeah, try to pick people's minds when you talk to
The
them.
whole time, like, even in the beginning, I was always messaging tattoo artists. I'd go drive 3-4 hours to go get tattooed by someone so I could watch what the fuck they were doing,
Right.
learn. Like, that's how I learned how to do traditional ass tattooing. Like, I have a Green Bay Bully piece on my leg. That shit is huge. It hurt, but I sat there and watched that motherfucker because I wanted to learn. So, like, that's what I ended up doing. I was like, well, since I didn't have the traditional setting, just like a regular fucking classroom, I didn't have that, you know what I mean? So I just went out to get it and find it and look for it, and fucking just the road has literally been my education.
Yeah.
So I tell people, like, the first 4 years I was shit. Then the last 3 I was like, eh. And then this one I'm like, I'm popping. So I'm like, I got it together finally.
So you feel like now in the last year or so that's
Yeah.
when you're kind of coming into your own.
Yeah, I get what I'm doing. I get myself. Because for the longest, I was like, I don't have a style. Like, I don't fit into, I don't know what I'm doing. And, like, I don't think anyone takes me serious because I don't know what I'm doing either. So I finally, like, just realized that I'm just a fucking storyteller. So my tattoos just tell a story in a different way. If you're looking for that quick release, bang, bang, pow, colorful tattoo, that's not what you're going to get from me. You're going to get a tattoo that took me probably 20 hours of research, 10 hours of drawing, 45 emails to fully fucking understand what it is in your mind that you saw that I want to get on your skin. So, yeah.
So you've spent a lot of time trying to get from the client's head onto their body wherever it's going.
Yeah. I like try to use everything I've learned in my tattooing. So I graduated with an art history degree and ancient world studies degree. So I pull references from all periods of time, from the Renaissance to the Hellenistic period to the early classical to the Aegeans to motherfucking fertility statues. Like, I love using fabric in tattooing, like traditional African patterns, or finding out all the meanings to Polynesian symbols. Like, I like myself like getting Viking runes, so now I'm learning about the different types of clans there were and the different types of symbols that they use. So I still get to learn every single day, which is all I ever wanted to do.
That's cool. I think so. On that note, so you're back up here. You come up here from Brooklyn. You start tattooing, and you said you want to go back to school. So obviously that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
What was ancient civilization? What is it?
Art history and ancient world civilizations.
Ancient world civilization. All right. So where'd you go to school up here?
I did 3 years at Dutchess. It sounds like jail time. I did 3 years at Dutchess Community College. I got an art history degree there and a visual arts degree. Then I transferred over to New Paltz and I finished off my art history degree. And then I got the minor because I had so many credits.
And more credits than you knew what to do with?
Yes.
So what is ancient world civilization? What does that mean?
Wow.
Like, what's a degree in that mean?
It's not a degree, it's a minor. So that means I took a whole set of classes to learn about lots of really old shit. Like, I took a class in ancient Israel. So I learned about, like, the beginning. Like,
Well, Israel's only been around for 60 years, 70 years, right?
No, like
The original?
Way back, yeah, the original
OGs,
Promised Land, yeah, like the original Promised Land,
land of milk and honey,
yeah.
So to speak.
And then like I took courses in like ancient Egypt. I took every class that you could take on the Greeks and the Romans. I took classes on like Alexander the Great. That's my homie. I fucking love that guy. He was onto something. World unifier right there. That's my move. So I got to learn a lot of really cool shit about a lot of really old stuff. And now I get to try and go to those places. So in Sicily, I got to see some really crazy well-preserved temples that are still fucking in Sicily standing.
Really?
I got to go to Pompeii. I got to see the Villa of Mysteries, which is like something I studied. It was a secret cult to Dionysus. And there's a big old like tent looking thing. Right? Yeah, okay. There's this big ass tent thing in the picture. If you go look for it, it's a dick underneath there. So I got to see that in person. It was awesome. So yeah, like now I get to like go to these places, and with the tattooing, it allows me to be able to be more mobile and go find shit too, you know. So
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
What was the Greek and the Roman? That was your favorite of the ancients? Any particular reason?
Like, I mean, their art itself always, I just love how straight it is, symmetrical it is. They went through a lot of stuff like as a community and peoples. So I learned a lot about their history, their wars and things like that. So that also intrigues me and made me like it the most. And I just feel like it was before you had like tricks and flares. Like, it's marble. You fucking cut that one piece of marble and chisel at it the wrong way, that whole sculpture's done.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just always appreciated that, because I don't got that.
Yeah.
I break things a lot, so I think that's part of it.
You know, I'm impressed by all art, because it's just not it's not in my wheelhouse. I'm not an artistic person. I'm not a really creative person. But I think especially like sculptures impress me, because I mean when these guys can look at a rock and envision like how they're going to get it down. To me, that seems it's like building a battleship. It's like, where do you start? It's like so.
Exactly. So
when I see like the not Greek or Roma, when I see the like Mount Rushmore, I think like, how could they, like, you know,
exactly,
one guy was a guy or a guy and his son or something hanging off the side of that mountain for years, chiseling away.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how can you not be fucking impressed with that kind of
it's unbelievable
level of artistry? Is just fucking matched. So yeah,
it's pretty wild. So as you were going to school, was this all with the intent that you would be using it in the realm of tattooing?
Yeah, I was already like 3 years in or something like that, I think. I just thought that since I had taken so many classes on art itself, you know, like painting, figure drawing, and I did that all at Dutchess, I wanted to try something else, because I knew I wanted to get a degree, but I wasn't sure in what. And it was like at the end of my time at Dutchess that I figured out like this newfound love for art history. So going there, I was like, well, I'm going to tattoo full time, run my little studio, and go to school full time and fucking learn as much as I can, so I can use all of this database to create new imagery that we haven't seen, that we haven't done. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bring back old things that no one would appreciate if you didn't fucking tattoo it, or if you didn't put it out there. So I definitely felt like it was the right thing to do, and it made me much more passionate for my tattooing.
Cool. I think that's a level of dedication that you don't see at all. I think, I mean, to spend all that time with that goal of I mean, it's more than just practicing your drawing, or, you know.
Yeah, man, those fucking tests, those papers. Those papers, I had to take German, because a lot of old documents in art history are all in German, so I had to take German. So that was fun.
Why German?
The Germans invented the school of thought, like the practice of studying the history of art.
Oh, interesting. So they were the first ones that. But I mean, people have been writing about art for thousands of years, no?
They've been writing about history, but once you start to take art into consideration, you can actually use art to figure out what's happening in that civilization during that time. Like, back in the day, so 2,000 years ago, there's this little like bust, fuck is her name? I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm not going to do it. But she is like a little fertility talisman. So that lets us know that women were having problems carrying children or having them full term or getting pregnant. So they needed more imagery that depicted fertility, because that was their practice. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then you go to like periods when you have tons of war in Spain. All the paintings that that you see are depicting different wars, ship wars, naval wars, you know what I mean? So through art, you can actually kind of find out what was happening with the people at that period.
So the contemporary art is a reflection of
what's happening in that society.
Okay, that makes sense. I guess especially longer ago when those things were bigger, when it wasn't TV and internet to distract you.
You know, like we know so much about the pyramids because they're still fucking there. So people can die and not write about them, but a fucking monument is always going to be there. Yeah. And then you figure out, oh, well, these people just built all these fucking pyramids because it was dick measuring competition. Then you had other pharaohs that moved it somewhere else because they thought that that was ridiculous. So it's a lot of nerd shit that I'm saying right now, but that's why it intrigued me, because I feel like even with tattooing, it's the same thing. You go from coast to coast, country to country, different styles and genres are popular and imagery is popular. Why? Because of the type of people that live in those places. Sure. So you get in LA, like Southern California, more the Chicano style, the black and gray beautiful style that they do. You know what I mean? Then you go to Upper California and you have the micro tattoos and things like that, because tattooing even shows that evolution of how art and people like show what the fuck's happening.
Well, tattooing's been around for a long
time. All the ports, all the sailors, all the traditional tattooing. So that's why I find studying art to be so interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone I'm a nerd. I tell people I'm a nerd, but they automatically are like, oh, like Dragon Ball Z or anime or something. Like, no, bitch. I mean books. I'm a nerd.
You're the real
like
deal.
The real deal.
All right. So after you left Brooklyn, you came up here and you went to school. You got into tattooing. So how's your mental health doing through all of this?
Fine.
Just doing okay?
Yeah, I think I ran on a little bit of autopilot for a couple of years. But I was like regular ups and downs, nothing like dramatic. So I figured out a lot of ways to just get myself back to level and back to the center. And like, I remember one day when we opened the studio, Robbie Ripple came and he helped me tattoo. Like, we had a little opening event. And he was the first person to ever point out that I always talk about the middle. I'm always like fucking obsessed with the middle and balance. And I'm like, bro, because that's like my whole fucking life. Yeah. Like I'm obsessed with it because like I have to be. Like I have to be focused on that. So I found a lot of periods in my life where I was able to just be like that, That's
interesting that he could see that part. He could see that part of your personality, or that part of you coming through in your art. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And you weren't on medication, nothing like that.
No, still to this day.
No kidding. Sweet. That's pretty good. So, all right. So then, what's next? What's the next big event in your life after?
After I finished college, I started hitting the road hard. Like, fuck convention after convention. I think for like a year or two, did conventions like every other month, then every month. Yeah. Then I started mixing in guest spots. So, yeah, just lots and lots of travel.
Getting a guest spot is different, right? Obviously, than getting a convention, because a convention you rent a booth and you go. So, unless it's an invitation only, basically anyone, right?
Yeah.
But so how was it? How was it getting guest spots?
Oh, man. At first, it was so hard, especially because, like, I don't know, people would ask, like, where I worked. And, you say you have a private studio, and, like, it was a big fucking red flag. Like, this person's a fucking scratcher,
Yeah, sure.
They're a kitchen wizard turned fucking private studio. So, like, I understood, but it was a lot of it. I got a lot of no's in the beginning, just because, like, I got it. I understood the why, Yeah. So
that probably doesn't make it any less discouraging.
Right. It doesn't. But, I got a lot of no's before I got my first yes. So I just kept going.
Were you trying for specific shops, or were you just trying for anyone who would take you?
For specific shops. Yeah, like very specific shops. Ones that, I different points I knew were like out of my league. But I still tried. I didn't give a fuck. It was like, why not? I'm going to try, and I'm just going to keep trying until my work matches what they're expecting of the level of artists in their shop. That just means I have to step it up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
were you looking for specific shops, for the people working there, like people that you wanted to learn something from?
Yeah. That's pretty much like most of the shops I've guest spotted at. It's just that, like, people I want to learn something from, or like someone I want to just learn something from on a human level, on an artistic level, if they know shit about tech, like whatever it is, I want to learn something. So that's why I want to go there. So I've just spent the past couple years fucking just challenging myself.
How long did it take before it started getting easier to get guest spots?
Probably in the last 2 years.
Oh, so recent.
Last year and a half, 2 years, I stopped getting no's and started getting yeses. So, especially like in the last year, I don't want to brag or nothing, but it's not as hard. I have work that I know is more like is at the caliber of all of these shops and then some, or different. You know what I mean? Like, I like to guest spot in shops sometimes that nobody there does what I do. Everybody does either just new school or everybody does ABC, whatever it is. I like, well, why the fuck not? I want to learn some shit about new school. I want to see how you pack your color. So
yeah.
Switch it up.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about a little that you're certainly, at this point, you're guesting at some pretty, well-known shops with really good artists in them.
So many fucking dope artists.
Yeah. We were talking about like Helheim. You get just a shop full of great artists.
They're fucking everybody there, from fucking Kelly to Kristen that runs the whole motherfucker. Like, that bitch keeps that shit tip-top fucking shape. Brittany, Jess, Sean, fucking everybody, just everybody.
It's like one is better than the other, kind of, no matter which direction you're going. They're all just great artists, and at Grit and Glory too, where they're different, because at Helheim you have a lot of commonality. They're all kind of. They all have their own style, but they're all they're all known at least for doing new school stuff. But at somewhere like Grit and Glory,
everybody has their own
wider variety of styles, and that sort of. So when you go to your, I don't know how this works. This is learn some behind the scenes stuff for me. When you do a guest spot, or when a tattooer does a guest spot, is it something where you say, hey, I'm going to be in your area, or hey, I'd like to come and work at your shop, or does shops ever call you? Or
so usually it's the first one, just because of the fact that everybody's schedule is constantly changing. You know what I mean? Like, you get invites from shops, like, anytime you want to come out, you know what I mean? But then again, it'll work on the dates that you're there. So it's always by the date. So I usually plan my travel like 4 to 6 months in advance, especially if it's like big trips where I'm going to do multi-city type stops. I let them know, hey, I'm going to be in town these days. Can I come tattoo? Yeah, no problem. So it's kind of like that. And then I also like to do guest spots in cities, like either after or before conventions, since like I can't get to everyone. But yeah, it just varies. Like,
also, if you do a guest spot based around the time you're gonna be in a convention, like if you have someone that says, hey, I want to get work at whatever convention, Lake Tahoe or something. Yeah. And you can't fit them in, you say, hey, I'm going to be kind of in that same area.
Yeah, I'm staying a couple days extra or whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I do that sometimes, and then
I think that's great, actually, because I mean, I think for a lot of people, if you want to get work from an artist, they're either booked up all the time, or it's geographically hard to get to them. And then if they're they're only at a convention for 3 or 4 days, if you God forbid you don't look at Instagram for like a week or something.
Right.
And now they posted they're going there and it's all filled up already.
Right.
And you missed them totally.
Exactly.
So it's nice that you're kind of spreading that time out a little.
Yeah, I try to. I mean, like, our 2-week road trip we just did, like, I did a day at Elysium, and then I went to Raw Canvas for 2 days. So then from there, I hopped over to Vatican Studios in California.
Oh, I'm not familiar with the other two in Colorado, right?
Yeah. Vatican Studios is Franco Vescovi's shop. It's Bishop Rotary
Oh, okay.
headquarters. Yeah. So I just kind of like, since I knew I was going to those cities, I just like planned it out. Like, hey, balls, I'm coming. So.
Are you usually able to book up work before you get to those places?
Yeah, I mean, I try to, just because since a lot of the cities I'm going to, I'm returning to. So, like for the instance, those cities I wasn't. It was my first time tattooing in them or that kind of thing. So Colorado, I had an appointment that like booked a few weeks like after I posted, and then like I had been pre-booked for LA like as soon as I said I was coming, because I have friends and family over there, so they all booked appointments. So it just like varies. Like when I went to Amsterdam the first time, I got booked up like within the first few weeks of posting, and I'd never been to Amsterdam. But then I've gone to like California to tattoo at a convention and not tattooed all weekend. So it just always varies, you know. It's always easier when you've been there before.
Sure. Is it discouraging as a tattooer or just as a person if you go to a convention and you're just not working the whole time?
Fuck yeah, because you just spent money on the booth.
Yeah.
You just spent money getting there. You are feeding yourself for 3 fucking days. You got a hotel room. So, like, it's the fucking worst thing that can happen to you. You take a loss.
Even not the money notwithstanding, I mean, does it just feel like kind of like a kick in the ass, like, oh, no one wants to get work from me?
Not really, because if you pay attention, you understand why right away. Like, I didn't do well in California, for instance, because everybody that was there for an appointment, was there for a specific style of tattooing, or was there to just walk around. And my work at the time that I had available wasn't at all what the people were looking for. So you kind of sometimes have to shift the shit you bring with you depending on where you're going. Because, like, if you're in a fucking convention that black and gray is what everyone wants, and nobody wants color, and all you did is bring all your color shit, like, you're going to just sit there. You know what I mean? You might get the one person that wants color, but if everybody knows it's a black and gray convention, like, that's what they want.
Do you think most artists pick up walk-ins at conventions? Or I mean, really?
Yeah.
I always feel like, saying, as an outsider, I kind of always figure that mostly people book up most of their time before they go.
No, there's like I've left Sunday open. For Philly, for instance, I'll only book because I've done it a couple years in a row, and I've done it where I booked all 3 days. I did it, my first time I did it, I just did walk-ups all 3 days, and I was booked the whole time. The second time I went, I was booked all 3 days, and I didn't even fucking have a chance to go piss. Then the third time I went, I did 2 days of bookings, and the third day just walk-ups. And, like, it's people want to get tattooed if they're at a convention. It's just what they're looking for.
I understand that people... I understand there's always going to be people that are there without appointments that are going to want to get something done. And there's always going to be, people that want to get it done that are not looking for a specific artist, that are just kind of...
they just
know, hey, I just want to get something done by anyone.
The girl I was tattooing on Sunday at Wildwood, the flowers, her boyfriend, he was just like, fuck it, I want to get my lip tattooed. And he got, I forgot what he got, but he got his fucking lip tattoo. He just walked up to like 5-6 different people. He price shopped and like wanted to see if they had experience doing that body part. And then he went he just kept walking until he found someone. And he found someone. Motherfucker came back with a lip tattoo.
That's funny. I would feel, I don't know, I'd feel weird like going around pricing something at a convention. It's like, I don't know. Feel weird to try to get one guy undercut the guy that's right in the booth right next to him. It seems kind of shady.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that one bit, because price shopping is how you end up with shitty ass tattoos anyways.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, then you have like the hoity-toity tattoo artists that like, no, just what's in my book.
Yeah. No.
And I'm just like, bro, didn't you draw the shit in that book? So why can't you just draw the word culture? Like,
right.
But everyone's different, you know?
No,
so
of course. But I mean, I know that there's always people at conventions that want to do walk-ups but I just kind of always figured that most artists try to go already booked, because that's
totally. That's like
money
the
in the
smart
pocket,
way to go.
Yeah. But I guess sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. So it's all different ways, you know.
Yeah.
You get the people that want to book all 3 days.
Have you done those like all weekend pieces yet?
No, I've done the most I did was 2 days, and it was here. It was like 10 the first day, 8 or 9 the second day. I don't know how the fuck she did that. I don't know how the fuck I did that, but that was like the longest that I've ever done was 2 days, 19 hours.
20 something hours in 2 days.
I ain't got that. I ain't got that much mojo, man.
It's rough.
I'll run now. I start to run dry real quick.
It's pretty brutal. It's definitely not for, I think on either end, on the tattooing or the getting tattooed end, it's not for everyone. I hope I never have to do it again.
Yeah, no. I fucking hate getting tattooed now. Getting these little bangers from Courtney. I was like, bitch, what are you doing? And then I just scheduled with Ashley. She's gonna tattoo me, but I don't know what we're tattooing yet. So she's either tattooing my arm or my leg. I don't know. We'll figure it out soon. Yeah, I got an appointment September 4th. That's all I know.
Where's she out of?
Salem, New Hampshire. Then I'm hopping over to Salem, Massachusetts for a guest spot.
Yeah, that's when you're gonna be up at Helheim.
I'm gonna be at Ninth Realm this time.
Ninth Realm this time.
Yeah, Gabe Londis works there. He fucking does. Ridiculous.
There's a whole bunch
ridiculous.
It's another
There's
shot.
just a whole fucking crew of amazing tattooers. The twins are over there.
Between Helheim and Ninth Realm and
Black Veil
and Night Owl.
Oh,
it's also in that same area. I mean, I'm not super familiar with Massachusetts, but I think they're kind of all in the same
region.
Yeah, there's a lot of good tattooers in one area.
That weather's very nice. Don't go in January because Salem, Massachusetts cold is no fucking joke.
I bet.
That shit was so bad. It was like -1 degrees, and then the wind chill was like ridiculous. So, yeah, we almost died. My husband busted his ass in snow. It's good.
You know what? That's a good segue to a question I've been thinking of. How does your husband feel about you with all this traveling? Does he come with you for most of your traveling?
He comes when he can. He has like a regular people job. He works at a college campus, so he has to keep more of a schedule. So he comes when he can. Usually like it's super planned out. So he went on the road trip with me. And then in October I'm going to France and Amsterdam, so he's coming for that. Wow. So like we'll opt out of him coming to local conventions or like, try like 3-4 hours away because of the bigger ones that we get to go do shenanigans on.
That must be nice though. I mean, you guys get to travel.
Yeah. I mean, like it's hard too because like I'll go sometimes a full week where I'm just city and then come home. So it's a lot, but I don't know. He out here supporting the dream, so
But I mean, he's all right. He's all right with it for the most part.
Yeah.
How does that affect you, again, like mental health wise? I mean, going on the road trips, and so I know it's rough for some people being
on
the road, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, especially like for me, I feel like what helps me stay level is a schedule and a routine. So when I'm like nonstop just hopping around, it's a lot. Like I wake up every morning. I help my husband get his lunch ready. I go to the gym. Then I go home, shower, go through emails or check my schedule, come in, tattoo, go home, answer more emails, draw, fuck around video games, watch stupid TV shows with him, fucking get stoned, go to bed. And like, that's home. Yeah. On the road, it's like draw till 3 a.m., wake up at 7 a.m. so I can go to the gym, eat, fucking smoke, then draw, then answer emails, then by 11 or 12 I'm tattooing till fucking midnight if I'm at a convention or something. Then again, you go find food at midnight like fucking animal, and then you gotta go and I'm drawing. So it's tough. It's really tough and it's like rough on you, but
it sounds like
I like it too.
It sounds like you're kind of
get to see shit,
trying to keep a similar schedule when you're on the road or
I like do my best. Sometimes you're just shot.
Yeah, no, of course, but I mean,
And then tattooers, man. You can't go anywhere near a bar that there's a lot of tattooers, because then you end up fucking around with like at Wildwood, fucking Fawn. This motherfucker had me taking shots of Hennessy. I don't do Hennessy, not really like at all. So I instantly got the doo-doos. So that's my life. So I'm like, I'm just trying to be innocent and have an alcoholic beverage. And now I got the shits from the alcohol that was given to me. Or then I turn around and I'm spilling my drink, but I haven't even had a drink yet because I'm just that clumsy that's the kind of shit that happens. Or I go to a restaurant and like recently I find out I have to eat gluten-free. Okay. And they're trying to fucking make me shit my brains because they're feeding me something that's not fucking gluten-free. So it's an adventure in life, You just keep rolling with it, figuring it out every day, every second.
I guess so.
Everybody shits.
No, of course. Me and my neighbor, I don't want to name names because that neighbor would be super embarrassed, but we talk about it all the time, and we laugh about shitting and farting, and that's
exactly.
So we're laughing our asses off like little kids.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the funniest thing. Yeah, it never gets old. It's just as funny now as it was when I was 5. It's.
I know you can't say shits without someone giggling somewhere. I got the doo-doos.
Well, I wasn't. It was just I wasn't expecting
you
it. That's all.
You weren't ready.
No,
I wasn't ever ready. That's why I don't talk in front of people. Especially
when a woman says it, you're less like if you're a guy, I would be less surprised. But I think when a woman says it, it's more surprising.
I know.
To me, at least.
That's my goal in life, to surprise the shit out of people every day.
So let's talk about something that I kind of always figured I would try to avoid on this podcast, but I think in your case, it's maybe
you're going there.
Yeah,
you're going there. I knew it was coming.
Well,
it's okay. Well, whatever.
Let's
it's been established. It's not like it's not out there.
Right. So let's talk about Ink Master.
Okay.
So I mean, while we're talking about, let's just talk about it in general first before we. So how did you come to be on Ink Master?
So I kind of have done the process with them for a couple years now. Mm-hmm. There were like other seasons that I had worked with them to be on. So I've known about. I used to watch the show, so I knew about it. And then when they like first reached out, it was for the Shop Wars season.
Okay.
So so I've been since season 9. I've been like working with them or whatever. Right. So they asked me to be on the season, and I was like, all right, I guess fuck it. Like, I've fucking done this shit more than once. Like, there's no reason why I can't do it. There's no reason why I shouldn't do it. So fuck it. I don't know. Yeah. So that's how that happened.
Oh, any idea why they asked you for this particular season? Anything just random, whatever?
Because I'm fabulous. No. I don't know. I mean, sure, I have plenty of ideas as to why they asked me for the season. I mean, the theme for the season is Battle of the Sexes.
Sure.
I'm a very verbal female.
Okay.
But not in the sense like where it's like putting people down. I speak my mind. I fucking can tell you if I have to diarrhea myself or something. Like that's just where I've gotten in life, where I'm just that comfortable with expressing what I need to express, because I don't give a fuck if it makes anyone uncomfortable. So I think that combined with, having been doing it with them for a bit, as well as like my traveling, like my background and things like that, I think that it appealed to a much larger crowd of people than I don't know if than they have been able to in other seasons, but just in general, I think that I brought something different and a different sense of viewer for this season. Okay. So definitely having me, because I'm a woman of color, was important. So I don't know. You can ask them why they picked me.
I don't know anyone from English.
I don't fucking know. I don't know. They just want me to talk some shit on camera, I think.
All right. So what? So what happened, right? If anyone doesn't watch Ink Master, we know you excuse yourself from that competition in third episode, second episode, and you alluded that it was for your mental health, to keep yourself healthy.
Yeah.
So what was going on in your head, or what was starting to go on that you didn't want to continue, or
I mean, it's a long process. Like you don't just wake up and go. Like, it's a long process. There's a vetting process. They have people review your portfolios, your work. You have people looking at your social media. Like, there's a lot of behind the scenes things that go on to get you on that show. And there's a lot of people that put in applications, a lot of people that they interview, and they dwindle it down to a select group of people that they want to bring on.
Right.
So that process is long as shit, man. And you don't find out until it's time to fucking go. So you're on edge preparing, you know what I mean? Especially like if you have your own business, if you have a family, if you have kids and things like that. There's a lot of shit you have to take care of before just saying, hey, bye, I'm leaving for 2 fucking months. You know what I mean? You have to sort a lot of shit. So I had already been doing a lot of stuff. Sorted all my shit. I was good to go. Before going, there were a couple family members that were suffering from depression, had gotten hospitalized for their mental conditions and things like that. So I had a little bit of shit going in. I almost didn't go on. Like, legit, the day before, I was talking to my husband and I was like, I don't think that I should do this. Like, I think I'm needed here. I think that this is what I need to do. I need to be with my family right now. There's a lot of things going on, and I feel like this is where I need to be. And he was just kind of like, Elva, you've got this far. They harassed you for this fucking long. You fucking got this opportunity. Just fucking go. It doesn't matter what happens. Just fucking go, because that's what matters. He said, you know, like, because I volunteer at, like, after school programs and things like that. He's like, when you were younger, would you have wanted to see you there? Yeah, absolutely. I would have loved to see someone that looked like me, that was shaped like me, that talked like me on TV in general. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was just kind of like, all right, well, fuck it, man. Like, you're right. I have to fucking do this now. And it's a lot. You have long hours, you know what I mean? You're with 18, 17 people you don't know. And thankfully, like, there was a good group of people there that, like, I got along with. You know, we talked a lot, different walks of life. But, like, for instance, Justin Nordine, he's been around for a while. I've known about his work for the longest. I was a fan of his work. Pony, I've known her work for a long time. Big Jazz, I've known him for years. He was, like, legitimately the first male tattooer that was, like, an OG and was like, hey, little sis, anything you need, I'll help you. And, like, that was a huge fucking deal for me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So having a lot of people that I either knew through life, through their work, or just personal was, like, really dope. But it was hard. It was really, really tiring. You're tired a lot. So I just, as the days progressed, I found it harder and harder to try to get to a level of just being, like, chill. I couldn't work out because I just was too tired. You know what I mean? Our eating schedule is according to, like, filming and stuff like that.
Okay.
But,
so
like,
it's kind of all over the place, probably.
Yeah, so it was very hard for me to find a rhythm or a pace that I could just, like, kind of, you know, get on and stay on. But I just found it really challenging to, like, get my head to feel calm. So, like, I would have migraines and things like that. It was just like, as the days kept going on, I was just like, I was more and more tired of trying to, like, keep it together. And I felt like it just wasn't right. Going in, you know, I spoke to the ladies and, you know, I wanted it to be black and white. Hey, if some of y'all got y'all own shit y'all doing, that's fine. Just let us know. Because if there's a team, there's a we team, and then there's a you team, that's okay. But then I'm just going to focus on the ones that want to work as a team to get as many females to the end. And I just felt like they were like being petty with me and like saying things to me all the time that was very underhanded and wasn't being done to the other people, the other females, the other males, and things like that. Like
you said the production team. You're talking about, not the.
No, I'm talking about like cast. Like, so I just was always like peeping shit that wasn't being done to other people. And I was just like, I don't get it, but whatever. You know what I mean? I get it. I walk into the room, I'm assertive as shit. So I would be a little intimidated of me too and be like, that's the one I got to take down. So I got it. But at the same time, like, I had like one of the nights we had a huge like talk, and it was about like female empowerment and the fact that the season is about men versus women, and us 9 women have a much bigger title. I mean, a much bigger job than any other female, any other season has had, because having 9 women together with this theme during this fucking political system and climate like it is, seeing 9 women treat each other like shit, be catty, is absolutely not what we're supposed to fucking do.
That's
you know
like
what I
same
mean?
old shit. That's
I'm
not
like,
what you want to say.
exactly. Like, we are feeding into these stereotypes. Then to top it off, it's the reason because women treat each other the way they treat each other as competition, as in like sneaky ways and shit like that, is why other people, men, still treat us that way. Like, we're less than and we're fucking small because we treat each other like that. But until we can start acting like sisters and not treat each other that way, we're always going to be treated like the fucking smaller citizen in the situation. And it's just, we have to treat each other better. And I wanted that to come across. And then I wanted the fact that there's little girls at home, all shapes, sizes, and everything, watching this, that are gonna watch this and be like, I want to be like that lady tattooer. I don't want to be like that lady tattooer. So I wanted them to understand that, yes, right now this is a gig. This is what we're doing. But the second it airs, there's like a whole lot of other shit.
Sure.
The real picture is what actually happens. We needed to, do the right now, because it's what we're doing. You just have to make the best out of every day and fucking try your hardest and hope you don't get sent home. It's just survival of the fittest. But I wanted them to keep that in the back of their mind. And so me being as I am and have worked to do the things that I've done, I couldn't see myself having to take another female out to save myself.
Okay.
That's just not me. That's not Elva. That's not what I would do. I know on the airplane, you put your fucking oxygen mask first and then you help other people. I know that much. Yeah. But not like that. That's just not like that. Not like that. Not for me.
I got you.
Because I've had so many people do that to me that it got to a point where that wasn't worth it. But as I call my family every day and talk to them. I talk to my girls, like Ash and Ashley. They were fucking my bitches. Like, we were fucking together every night. Like, Ashley and I would stay up late watching fucking Ink Master try to prepare. Like, what are we doing right now? Like, I had really good people there with me, but them not knowing how to deal with it either, it made it really hard to like help me. And then there were other people that, everyone's there. It's a competition, so it's not up to you to help someone else. So
no, that's just different viewpoints.
Exactly. I just, for myself and my mental, it just wasn't worth long-term damage. Already having been institutionalized, already having done the whole pill thing, I just didn't feel like that was something that I wanted to happen at the end of it, because I knew I was more than capable of being one of those final 3 on that stage. Like, I knew that was more than in my reach, because I had more drive and more will and more want than anyone and more fucking fight. But at the same time, is it worth having long-term fucking shit happening?
Right.
I already have this thing that I live with that is a constant battle in myself to just fucking be able to have a conversation or get ready to do this kind of a thing, Right. Like, it takes a lot of fucking preparation, not just fucking the face and the clothes. Like, I have to fucking send myself out to calm myself down enough or bring myself up enough to be able to do something like this. So it was getting harder and harder to be able to do that, to turn it on and turn it off. So
like a downward slide kind of.
Yeah, and like when when Oliver called me and said my tattoo on the bottom, I was like, these motherfuckers are on it. What? The whole cocktail of the drugs, because this is false. This is incorrect information. I looked at everyone's tattoos. There were blowouts. There was damaged skin. That's the episode, I think, Afan didn't finish his tattoo. But one tattoo of the day. You know what I mean? It was just like so fucking weird. Everything that was happening. It made no sense to me. So I just literally was like, I don't want to fucking do this shit. Like, I don't want to do this.
I've been watching Ink Master on and off since the beginning, and the judging has always been an issue. The judging is very uneven. I'm definitely not the only person to say that. And some of the other things I think me and I think most other people aren't that interested in nothing personal against anyone, but not that interested in the interactions between the people in the house. I mean, you're watching it as a tattoo competition, not as like a
personality
not
competition.
as like the Hills or the OC or something.
Exactly.
But I mean, that will not. That's not that much of the whole show. And I mean, but yeah, the judging has always seems very uneven. They say this about the one tattoo, and the next one they're judging has the same problems, and they don't even look at it. And I know it's hard to judge.
Yeah.
Tattoos and artwork that can be so drastically different from each other, but that's what the show is, and I think if they could find a better way to judge it, that it might kind of help its I think it's mixed because people are always like, I watch it for the tattooing, not for the drama. But then it's at the same time, if you didn't have all of that, you wouldn't fucking watch a tattoo show just about tattoos. I would.
That would be so boring to people; they wouldn't actually watch it. You know what I mean? And then you go there and you sit down and you read the comments, and they're like, "I hate this person. Oh my god, I can't believe this person said that." So it's definitely like. It's strange. It's so different from me, having done the convention thing already for a while, where it's like they're judging black and gray tattoos and only black and gray tattoos, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's 3 judges and blah blah blah, and then doing the guest spot thing where it doesn't fucking matter, just do a solid fucking tattoo and keep the chair full and don't make the shop look bad. Right. And then turn around and you go there and it's like, bitch, you don't have the steering wheel at all here. There's nothing that you have control over other what you put on skin. So, for me, I was just like, bro, like, you're wrong. You're fucking wrong. You're wrong about this. You're wrong about the reasoning for putting me on the bottom. Mm-hmm. So I had already earlier that day cried more than once because I was just over it. Like, I had pulled the producer aside and I was like, I'm not well. I'm not well here. I can't do my best here. Mm-hmm. I can't be the best Elva. I can't be the best representation for my community that I need to be. Mm-hmm. And it's just not worth it to me. You know what I mean? And they gave me a huge pep talk, like a huge one, you know what I mean? And it was just like, all right, cool. But then that happened and I was like, bro, like, I'm not a toy. And I know what I signed up for, but I did not sign up for more than I felt like I needed. So, being on the bottom with Jazz, who's a mentor, and then Alexis, who's been tattooing for 18 years and is a woman, how do I stand there and then, go home and feel good about myself for either bringing down a man that helped me when nobody else would, or bringing down another female who's fucking had it hard and came from the beginning? Yeah. Like, how do I sit with myself and go and be okay with that? And that just wasn't. It just wasn't something that I was willing to live with, that I did something like that to either person, knowing that I already was aware that I was starting to crash and I was getting extremely depressed. Like, I was already aware. Like, that's the one thing is that in the past couple years with all the traveling, I've become more aware to when I'm either getting too manic or more depressed and like I'm just not well. So I knew where it was gonna go. I was either gonna get really upset at some point and just like flip the fuck out on people that didn't deserve it, or I was gonna pull a really fucking like diva moment and just fucking walk out or something like that. And none of that was like worth it, like I knew that the kids at the fucking program that I hang out at, you know, my nieces and nephews, you know, and my people, the people I tattoo, they were going to see that and know that that wasn't me. So, like, in that moment with everything that was happening and all of the lights, it was what my soul and my heart told me to say, you know, and like, the judges gave me nothing but respect. They kind of tried to tuck me out of it for a second. Joey was confused as fuck. Ryan was confused as fuck. Joey was kind of mad that I even got put on the bottom and that I got put in a situation where I had to make a choice like that. So it was dramatic. It was a lot. But you know, when I left, like, I fucking cried because I was like, fuck, it's over. I can fucking go fix myself. Like, I can go do that. And it's what I had to do because me losing my shit for America,
not worth it.
It's not worth it. Not at all. That's just not it.
I have so many things I kind of want to touch on from all the stuff you just said. So I'm not even sure where to start with it. But so when you go on Ink Master, this is what I've heard from other people. I mean, in a way, you're kind of isolated, right? They take your phone and they take this and that. That's right. Is that right or no? I mean, you're limited.
Yeah, no, not like all day. Like while we're filming, you know, which is fucking normal. You shouldn't be.
Like, but when you're back in the house,
you get your phone.
Oh, okay. So I've been told that it was taken away. All right.
Yeah, no, you get your phone.
All right. So you're not totally like limited in the amount of people you can call for support.
No.
Okay.
No. Just like you have your phone all night. When you go to start filming, you give your phone. When you get back, you get your phone back.
That's not so bad.
Yeah, no.
You can't be on the phone while you're at work. That's not so terrible. You think that having all of those people, 18 when you started? Was that what it was? When you have 18 people all in such close quarters for such a long period of time, do you think that that's going to breed that kind of like cattiness, not just from women, but from guys too? That's just, I mean, it's like if you work in a store and you have 5 people and you're together 15 hours a day. Yeah, everyone gets kind of petty over those kind of things, and I mean, so that's probably bad for you. That was probably bad for your mental health right off the bat, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I haven't been put in those kind of situations before. Like, I don't know what year it is, but when I graduated, I went on a 3-week study abroad program with 14 students, and there was one male. And at one point I had 3 roommates, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like, and they were 18 and I was like 25. So
there's a big difference.
Exactly. You know, so it's not like I hadn't been put in that situation before. It was totally fine. Like me and my roommates, like the girls that we were in a room together, like we were super chill. And like, yeah, I mean, everybody talks shit about each other and cattiness and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, what you do on camera is on camera. And then what you do in the loft is the loft, because you still have to fucking live with each other. You know what I mean? You still have to fucking look at one another. So
yeah, from my experience, when you're with the same group of people for all the time, it makes it seem like those people are such a large presence in your life, even though it's only temporary. And then as soon as you're kind of spread apart, life kind of goes back to normal. But when you're there, they seem
I mean, like, we all keep in contact in one way or another.
Yeah, but now you're in your regular life, so now they're just like other people in your life. They're a person, but they're not so. Yeah. And I think when you're all together, that makes.
I wouldn't know. I wasn't there that long, so I ain't get attached to no hoes.
But I mean, I think it makes the little things seem much bigger than they would be if they happen to you, like in your normal everyday life. That's kind of what I'm babbling about.
Most of the time, you know, like, so the part of the reason why I end up talking about having bipolar disorder, was because I like shared that information with someone. I was just like offering them CBD gummies because you can't partake in flour while you're there. So, you know, I let them know like, hey, you know, I have bipolar disorder, so I don't have my regular medication with me. I have a bunch of CBD gummies to help with anxiety, depression, and things like that. So if you ever need any, And that person decided to share it with everyone else in the house. So it was kind of like, what the fuck? Cool. All these fucking strangers now know some personal shit that takes some people their entire lives to be able to say out loud and ask for help.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That's what's up. We're doing that. All right. So it was like...
But that's kind of what I'm saying. When you have all these people together, you kind of almost like revert back to high school.
Right.
Kinda,
so it's like, dude, like I didn't sign up for this shit. Like I did that. I had that happen to me more than once. And I'm not, if that's what you choose to do with yourself, that's what you choose to do with yourself.
Let me ask you this. When this information was shared with everyone in the house, not by your choice, but when it was shared, did you find that anyone interacted with you differently? Really?
Because, like, for instance, the reason why the person told everyone was because someone was asking them if I like them. They're like, I don't think Elva likes me. And the person's response was, oh, she's just bipolar.
Oh, that's a weird kind of response to that.
But everyone's like just sitting, eating food, and like, what the fuck?
Oh, so they said this in the presence of a lot of people. Okay.
Yeah. So it was just kind of like, what the fuck? Right. So, yeah. So it was whatever.
But I mean, you think people interacted with you differently after that?
Yeah. I mean, other people that were in the house that suffer from their own things, like they were more open to me.
Okay.
Because of it. And then other people just kind of like didn't really talk to me. And I was just like.
So kind of a mixed bag. So some people, it turned off some people in a way, and some people.
Yeah. So
maybe in a way it made your relationship better with them, or more open with them. At least.
Yeah, I mean, like Justin and I have a really great relationship. Like we're going together to France and Amsterdam. You know what I mean? Because he was very open about his own. He's like, what you did made me feel more comfortable to speak about the shit that I need to speak about. So it was like, whatever, dude.
Cool. You had touched on a couple minutes ago that now at this point in your life, you can tell when you're going up, man, and going down. Do you find having that self-awareness of your illness is helpful in your life?
Oh yeah, it's fucking enlightening because you just know, you can tell, you know what I mean? So like I let my husband know, like, hey, my mental's not too good today, so I'm gonna be a little bit more down, or you know what I mean? Like I let my best friend know or my family know, like, hey, I'm not well today, so like I'm not really gonna talk to anyone. So I try to like keep to myself a little bit more, so that way anger or aggression doesn't come out like verbally type thing. So I just know where I go and who I become, I guess, when I'm either one. So I let people know that are close to me because they know what that means. They're just, I've like
and you find
reached out enough to the point where they know what to do to help me.
Yeah. So by you telling them, it helps them help you, so to speak, to get through your day.
Yeah.
That's cool. I found, since really only knowing for about, really consciously knowing for maybe like 3 or 4 years that I'm an anxiety sufferer. I really never knew what it was before, but once it was kind of discovered, I find that sometimes now in life when things happen, I can say, hey, you know what, this I say to myself, this is just anxiety. This is not, you're not it's not this, you're not having, you're not able to breathe, or you're not this or that, and
if you're starting to have a panic attack and you're aware that you're having one, you can like calm yourself down enough to, stop having the panic attack, anxiety. You know what I mean? It's the not talking about it that's the problem. Yeah. That's what leads to issues and people going postal and things like that. Sure. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I think self knowledge and self awareness is really key, and the ability to deal with it. I mean, I think unfortunately sometimes maybe people slide so deeply into depression that even just to deal with it is more than they're able to accomplish. and that's sad. But
yeah, I mean, like when I was in Colorado, there was a man at the Raw campus getting tattooed, and he stopped me as I was walking to the bathroom, and he says, hey, you know, I saw you on Ink Master, and I just have to say that what you did was so brave. He's like, I'm a retired cop. Like, I'm a retired cop, been retired for years. He's like, it's so amazing to see that the new generation, the younger generation, is much more open to talk about it. Yeah. It's like, in my line of work, if you so mention anything, depression, anxiety, anything, you get your gun taken away and you're seated for desk duty for months. It's a punishment to say that you need help. You know what I mean? And there's been, you know, that's why there's so many people that still don't talk about it, because of the stigmas that still are attached. Yes, you can talk about it more openly, but like even myself coming off the show and having done what I did, I received such mixed feedback from people. Like, I had legit hate mail, people telling me to kill myself for quitting, for dropping out. Then I had 95% of people telling me that they themselves like wish that they could do something like that me doing what I did like inspired them or let them know that it's okay to fucking ask for help. You know what I mean? So
that's what I was expecting. You totally surprised me again when you said you had mixed. Yeah, because I was expecting you to say I had so much support and so many.
I had some angry motherfuckers that need fucking help, and that's the thing. They're so angry because they don't want to fucking get help. So seeing that must be so scary.
What kind of stuff could they say about, like, you should have stayed on it and you should have?
No, that why the fuck did I go on if I was gonna quit? Like just. You're a loser, go kill yourself, like you're fucking not an Ink Master, like don't put that you work there, and just stupid shit. And it's just like, cool, what's next? What else you got to say? Like, I already heard that a lot, so it's okay that you feel that way, but what I really want you to do is listen to the why I left and go get some help. You know what I mean? So
were you able to deal with that okay, like any negative feedback that you got?
I took a break from social media for like the first week or two, just because it was, you know, having gone through it, then like going and processing everything that happened and, you know, working on like getting myself better. It was a lot at once. And then I turned around and hit the road right away. So I didn't really have time to deal with it, like when I got home and stuff. And then like when it aired, it was just kind of like I fucking have to deal with it because I had to do like interviews and shit. So I had to like watch it and everything. And then like the text messages started coming and oh my God, are you okay? And it was like, I just need a second. Like, can I just get a second? So yeah.
Besides the stuff we talked about, you have anxiety problems ever?
Fucking no, I didn't. I do now. I now have anxiety.
You know, anxiety.
I like low-key have PTSD. So that one's new too. And then my new gluten allergy apparently has been woken up by stress. So yeah, you know.
You know, I was gonna ask you. I mean. For a lot of people, I know for me in particular, one of the big issues with anxiety is anticipation, right? The anticipation of something horrible coming, no matter what might be the most likely reaction to something. You're always expecting the worst. You're always anticipating like the absolute worst case scenario. And so after you filmed Ink Master and before your episode made it to air, I mean,
I was sick.
I'm saying, was that anticipation of?
Oh my God, my anxiety was so bad. I couldn't even tattoo. I was so stressed out because I just was like, "Fuck, bro." It's not even like I went home on a bad tattoo. Like I just said something that took me so long to accept out loud on a fucking television. Fuck. So it was bad. My anxiety was really bad. I cried every single day because I was just like, oh my God, what are my like fucking tattooer bros gonna say? You know, like all these people that I just worked so hard to get fucking like, you know, respect from, like, what are they gonna say? What are they gonna think? So it was bad, but like in my mind, I knew I was gonna get hate mail. I didn't expect to get as much as I did and for as long. Like, I'm still getting hate mail
Really?
now.
Oh
So
God.
I wasn't ready for that. I think it's a bit absurd. But I mean, I still now get people reaching out to show love and solidarity because they understand exactly what it is. You know, moms with children that suffer from it, even
Sure.
women with, you know, women with children who are autistic, you know what I mean? Or autistic people themselves, people who suffer from depressions, like fucking everything. And it's just like, that's why I've been able to like get it together, you know what I mean? Because I've realized that like I went in knowing I was representing for a community, you know, women,
It seems like you're
people
going in
of
representing
color.
for multiple communities.
but fuck the mental health community. Holy shit, that's a lot on a plate. So like, you know I did what I needed to do for myself. I did the right thing for myself, and I think that it helps people understand that, you know, you can't just say someone's bipolar. That's not okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a real fucking thing. It's
Sure.
a real fucking problem. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't tell someone with cancer, just get over it. You just got cancer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you can't do that. So I think that the Ink Master viewers and fans get to see that side of it, because so many people that have to be in reality TV and do TV do end up suffering from things, especially because people are fucking mean and they're hard and they're assholes when they want to be. So I think that, you know, ultimately I did what I did, and a lot more people got something out of it than I could have imagined.
I think you're right, and I think the fact that you had such a good reaction to it from the judges on the show when you said it, and especially from Dave Navarro, who seemed, Nunez and Peck seemed supportive of you, but
yeah,
I mean
they were.
Navarro seemed like he was really, you know,
Yeah.
he's like, yo, I know what you're going through, and I mean he obviously, we know he's had his own his demons in the past that he's been fairly open about talking with them.
Fucking.
But I think that's one of the two things that people need to really help bring mental health issues to light, and to help acceptance is people have to be like that. People have to be accepting, and people have to, if you can't identify, if you've never suffered, you have to at least be empathetic. Hey,
Yeah, you just gotta be open
I
to it,
understand you're going through something, even if it's not something, even if I can't, you know, like you said about cancer, like you don't have to
have cancer.
You don't
to
have
know
to
it
have ever had
fucking
cancer
sucks.
to know that someone is sick and it's horrible.
We talked about it a little bit before we started, but like I was saying how, you know, mental health is still a like it still has a stigma. It's still taboo.
Sure.
Different communities have their level of taboo. You know what I mean? Like my entire life growing up, I was told get over it.
Yeah.
And that's what is common in the Latin community, people of color. You just fucking get over it. Get over it, go back to work and get your shit together. And it's like, that is the mentality that got us here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You have the craziness that's happening fucking at this point every couple days with people that are being given things that they aren't fully capable of, you know, fully handling. You know, that's its own fucking subject, but it's just like, we can't just get over it. And at the same time, you can't just give people a cocktail of medication when that's not the that's not the right thing for them either. You know what I mean? It's just, let's just be open, talk, and try and figure it out, you know, add meds if you have to.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why fucking teenagers should be on 4, 5, 6 different fucking pills to just cope and get through the day, because of the fact that, guess what, as they get older, they're just going to keep coping and getting through the day. And for me, like the past few months, I've been doing a lot of learning and re-educating on myself and working on myself on the inside and stuff like that. And I fucking pick up so many freaking books that say how to cope with bipolar disorder. That word fucking irks me. Why do I have to cope? Why can't there be a better way to live so I can just live? I don't want to cope through life. junkies cope to get their next high.
Right.
And it's like that's just not what we should be working on as a society anymore. We should just be working towards better, healthier, positive ways to fucking understand each other.
Well, I think what you were saying a second ago about teenagers being honest, I think in this society we're so ready to say there's something wrong with him, give him a pill, and we want it to be solved right away.
And look at the opioid crisis. It's the same fucking thing.
In situations where you have mental health problems, a lot of times there's multiple medications that could possibly provide a cure, and they have to. And no one.
You're fucking guinea pig until they find something that gets you like.
They have to keep trying
something.
Right. They have to keep trying stuff until it works, and people aren't willing to put in that time. You have to do what you have to do. Medication
isn't
always the cure for everything. But I mean, in a situation where people need it, sometimes the first thing you take it might not be the right thing, but it might take you 6 months to know that it's not the right thing. And people don't want to do that, so they just keep throwing pills at it. Take whatever, take Prozac, take Zoloft, take Xanax, take Wellbutrin, take Lexapro, anything. All these drugs, they just keep kind of throwing drugs at the problem and hoping that's going to cure it. When really, just stacking them up one on top of the other is, who knows what kind of effect those are having. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a big issue. We're certainly not going to solve it here today. But I think what you said before is right. I think awareness is key. I think people knowing and people knowing.
I think all humans just need to be more self-aware in general. You know what I mean? Like, what you put out and what you bring in as a person. So, like, if you're a piece of shit, fucking just own you're a piece of shit. Don't fucking sit there and act like you're fucking, like, Mother Teresa. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Call it what it is, And it's just, like, own up to it and fucking live your truths, whatever that is, and then let the other person sitting right next to you do the same exact thing. If you want to live like that, let them live how they want to live. So that's like a lot of it too. So.
Yeah, I think people have to be, I think that's exactly right. Like, live and let live. And I think people have to be more empathetic. You have to understand that the other person isn't going to live the way that you're going to live.
You're not walking in their shoes.
Right. And so, but you have to accept them, and you have to kind of maybe take them for their word. Like, if maybe you don't, like I say, you don't know what they're going through, but you have to just take them at their word that they're they can't leave the house this day, or they're just they're not just going to snap out of it if they go to the parade or something. I mean, that attitude is really
because I've done that. You just stand there empty like a vessel while everyone else around you is living their best life.
I mean, there's a difference obviously between kind of being in a funk where something like that might help you. You just, you had a shitty couple of days and you're feeling, whatever. Yeah. But then, when you talk about real depression, that's a real thing. And getting a balloon or something isn't going to, going to see the clowns isn't going to, it's not going to, that's not going to help you with that kind of stuff. Hey, chocolate cures all problems, I think.
Chocolate cures everything. Yeah. You know that chocolate has gluten in it?
Really?
Some chocolate has gluten in it. Man, I'm telling you, this life right now I'm living is complicated. I got to read labels. I got a scanner in my phone so I can scan food before I eat it to make sure it doesn't fucking have gluten in it.
Really?
Yeah.
You got like an app for everything now. Yeah. That's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, I think we covered a lot. I think
you let me talk a lot of shit.
Hey, listen, that's what we're here for.
Talk shit.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts? Any shout outs? Any whatever?
Final thoughts. I don't know.
You don't have to.
I don't fucking know. I'm here. I'm existing. I'm working on it. Everything isn't awesome yet, but I'm still working on it, and that's better than having just been a robot for a while. So, for sure. I appreciate the shit out of all the people that did reach out with their own messages and their own, struggles and their own stuff. And hopefully in the future, I can continue to work with the mental health community and continue to help educate people. I'm not, the most educated on it all, but I'm like I got a big enough mouth that I don't give a fuck and I don't mind saying it. So, I mean, I just want to say, you know, make sure you're good to each other and you fucking just take time to listen when someone needs some help. Don't let someone be 6 feet under the ground before you have things that you wish you could have said.
Right on. Good.
Yeah, man.
Words to live by, right? All right, so with that, let's call it a day. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for wasting your time with me today. We'll put links to for you and for your shop here and for the various people that we mentioned through the conversation. I'll put all that links in the description. And thanks everyone out there for listening and be sure to like and to follow Under Our Skin on whatever particular platform you're listening to on or watching on or whatever. And that's it. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a nice day. See you next time. And thanks, Elva.
Thank you.